Guys, so it's Jane here from LazerGaming. In this video, I want to look at Battlefield 1 versus Infinite Warfare. Basically, who won the war between these two games. So both these games were extremely built up as being competitors between each other, and they were the two biggest FPS launches of the year. I mean, Uncharted 4 had more sales than both these games, but it wasn't a first-person shooter, and it wasn't a huge online multiplayer shooter like both of these games are. So both of these games did sell quite a few units. I mean, Infinite Warfare was down a bit from Black Ops 3, but I mean, people are saying COD's dying, and this game still sold a ton. And then Battlefield had a ridiculous amount of sales for a Battlefield game, but something that I want to talk about is the player retention between Battlefield, but I'll get into that later. So first, let's hop right into the sales numbers. So Infinite Warfare on PS4 sold 6.3 million copies, and these are like 2 weeks delayed. So, because the website that I go to, VG Charts, only updates like 2 weeks after because they can't get the sales numbers live. So something else to keep in mind is that Infinite Warfare did come out like a month after Battlefield 1, so the sales numbers are going to be a bit less than if they were to be launched at the same time. So then on the Xbox One it sold 3.9 million, and then on PC it sold less than 500,000. So now on to Battlefield 1, which sold 6.2 million copies on the PS4, which is basically as much as Infinite Warfare. And then on the Xbox, it sold 4.3 million copies, which it outsold Infinite Warfare on the Xbox. It did launch a bit earlier, but that even when I looked at this like a couple weeks ago, it was less because I've been planning to make this video for a while and I've kind of been procrastinating. So when I looked at these numbers a while ago, Battlefield 1 was way less than Infinite Warfare. It was like 500,000 copies less overall, but they must have done a sale or something to promote the sales of this game way after launch. But the sales numbers just jumped a lot higher on Battlefield 1. So Battlefield 1 actually sold more, like around 250,000 and 500,000 more copies than Infinite Warfare, which is ridiculous at this point right now. Now, I mean, obviously you can really only measure games like total sales after around a year, and Battlefield 1 did launch a month before Infinite Warfare. But still, the fact that a Battlefield game was able to compete with a Call of Duty game like this is just absolutely astounding, especially considering that Call of Duty's always been way bigger than Battlefield. When Battlefield 3 and Ghosts were competing, COD still sold twice as many copies as Battlefield. So the fact that Battlefield's able to come back like this and just be able to outsell Infinite Warfare is just ridiculous. Now, another thing though is that Battlefield 1 sold like 10 million copies, or 10.5 million roughly. But something that's weird is it's only able to hold like 250,000 to 300,000 players a day. That's pretty weird. 250,000 to 300,000 is what Battlefield 4 was getting 2 years after launch. Once they started releasing the free maps and stuff. Now I'm assuming that the Battlefield 1 player numbers will spike again once the DLC launches, probably up to 500,000. But Infinite Warfare doesn't actually have a website that counts their player numbers. If you guys know a website, comment down below telling me that. But I couldn't find anything that told me the amount of players. But Infinite Warfare, I never have trouble finding a game. I can always find a game on pretty much any playlist. And also, same on Modern Warfare Remastered. Both games retain a very high player base. And what Infinite Warfare has been doing is similar to Battlefield 1 custom games. Every week they release this sort of old COD game. So they did this Demolition this week. They did Drop Zone. They did Epic Gun Game, which was a new game, and they basically do this, and it really makes me actually want to go back and play the game to try out these new game modes. And Battlefield 1 does the same thing. Every time a new custom game comes out, I want to come back and play the game. So it is just a bit weird that the player numbers do seem a bit low. I haven't been doing YouTube for an immense amount of time, and I wasn't doing it when Ghosts and Battlefield 3 competed, so I can't really attest to what the player numbers were like then. But what the players were like for Battlefield 4 after launch, I'm just saying that they are a bit low with these games. But overall, I do like both of these games, and in the future, I'm probably going to talk about what the next COD and Battlefield games will be like, compare them in the future, because I've been playing a lot of competitive Infinite Warfare, and I feel that that keeps a large portion of the player base intact, because there's a huge competitive scene on Infinite Warfare. You're able to watch the pros play, and that keeps people wanting to keep playing the game. and I do wagers and stuff like that too, and it really keeps me into the game. Whereas in my opinion, the Battlefield 1 core gameplay is much better. It's just so fun and epic, and the moments are just ridiculous when you get feeds and stuff in that game. But just the competitive aspect of it isn't really nearly as good as Infinite Warfare, and it's not as competitive of a game as Infinite Warfare. But I know that will change in the future, as Battlefield has announced that this year they're going to invest a lot in esports, which I'm super hyped for, especially if it comes to PS4. I'll for sure be diving into some competitive on Battlefield 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think about these sales numbers. Was this what you were expecting? Were you expecting Infinite Warfare to be way lower, way higher? Same with Battlefield 1. Tell me down below in the comments. But that's what it is for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.